Let's talk about the NFL draft. The potential number one overall pick, Abdul Carter. I'm reading an article from ESPN's Adam Schefter. It says here potential number one draft pick Abdul Carter has a stress reaction in his right foot. Test revealed Wednesday, and the Penn State standout will need to decide soon whether to have surgery. This is what his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, told ESPN. Quote, there are mixed opinions on whether if he needs surgery, and we will figure that out in the near future. This is what Rosenhaus said on Wednesday night in Indianapolis, side of this week's NFL Scouting Combine. According to Rosenhaus, Carter has two options. One, he could have preemptive surgery, have a screw inserted in his right foot, and return to working out and running in about 8 weeks. Or two, he could bypass the surgery, conduct his pro day at Penn State on March 28th, and prove to NFL teams that he doesn't need a procedure. According to Mel Kiper Jr.'s latest big board, he has Abdul Carter as the number 2 rated prospect. And you look at Abdul Carter from Penn State, really talented, productive guy, 12 sacks, helped Penn State get into the college football playoffs this season. Tennessee Titans, they have the number 1 overall pick. They're going to have to make a serious decision because Abdul Carter or Cam Ward. It seems like Cam Ward is QB1. It seems like Cam Ward is going to be the number 1 quarterback. Champ, to me, if it's that close, and I know I sound redundant, they're probably going to lean towards a quarterback because no matter how good Abdul Carter is, just watching him, he can get after the quarterback. He's talented. He's physical. But at the same time, champ, do you want to roll the dice on the mayonnaise man, Will Levis, again? You want to deal with Will Levis? Or if you're Tennessee, do you want to deal with getting a free agent quarterback? Or if you're Tennessee, hey, there are going to be some teams out there that could use a quarterback or could move up in the draft. Heck, you got to explore your options. So what do you think the Tennessee Titans should do with the number 1 overall pick? Because either draft a quarterback, draft Abdul Carter, which that wouldn't be bad of a decision, or here's some other teams in the NFL that's willing to give you a couple of first rounds, a third or a fourth or whatever.
Trade the pick. Trade it. You need a hell of a lot more than just one player. And you're about to lose your star linebacker because you just gave him a clearance to go get a trade.
Yes, you did.
So you need a hell of a lot more than just 1 or 2 players. You need a plethora of players. And I'm sorry, you're not going to catch up anytime soon. The Houston Texans are light years ahead of you on offense and defense. You're just lucky that they were just hurt. A lot of their players were hurt this year. You just got lucky because it could have been a lot worse. So trade the pick. I think this is a good draft class. This is not the greatest one I've ever seen. There's no real undisputed number 1 consensus overall pick, in my opinion. I think Abdul Carter is great. What I wanted to see happen was him get drafted at number 2. And they pair him with Myles Garrett up in Cleveland. But it looks like that's not going to happen because they said, because Myles Garrett clearly said, you can give me enough money to air condition hell, and I'm not finna stay in Cleveland. So that's just how it goes there. So Cleveland also has a huge dilemma on what they have to do. But as far as Tennessee, you might want to trade that pick, see what else you can get in the draft throughout the draft, and see if you can sucker a team into give you one. Look, let's just be clear. Everybody is desperate with a capital D to get that next quarterback. They're desperate. So what better way for you to get something done and to sucker somebody into doing it? Oakland Raiders, they out to try to get Shedeur Sanders.
Las
They want
Vegas.
to get Shador Sanders. Yeah. You got a lot of other teams that want to get quarterbacks. So go ahead and see what you can get. Put out there you want to trade for the number 1 pick.
Matter of fact, champ, you're the one who's been telling Jackson Dart from Ole Miss his QB draft buzz is stocking,
Yeah.
is elevating.
Yeah. And I've been saying that for the longest time. People did not believe me. And shout out to Jackson Dart. He is an SEC guy, all SEC for 2024, by the way. But yeah, there is a team out there that is thirsty for a quarterback, and they better be willing to get you the form. But the key is not getting the picks. The key is getting the right players with the picks. And I understand, Tennessee, you have a lot of money in free agency. Use it wisely. Go out there spending all your money right about now. It's best to sit on your money sometimes than spend it.
Not to mention, you are a state with no income taxes.
Yeah, Tennessee has no income tax.
I think so, yeah. In the South.
Damn. I'm 3 hours away from Tennessee. It might be time to move. But might be time to move. But I digress.
They got some good food, and they got some good food in Music City, champ. Just if you're wondering.
Yeah, they do. They do. I've heard about that. Man, plus they got the strip and everything. But yeah, I think that plus you got to think in the long term, Tennessee, because you're about to build a new stadium. Nissan Stadium is about to get rebuilt. You're about to have a dome stadium in the middle of downtown, $4 billion stadium. So you got to think long term rather than just short term. Trade the pick, get you a bunch of players. See if you can build this roster. See if you can build it. And if you have to suffer another year with Will Levis, that's better than taking the wrong player at this point and suffering for many more years. Because we've seen defensive ends. We saw a defensive end from Penn State go number 1 almost ago to the day. And his name was Courtney Brown. And he just couldn't stay on the field. We've seen a lot of great offense. Seen a lot of great defensive line get drafted number 1 overall. We saw Bruce Smith. We saw Mario Williams. Jadeveon Clowney, he was serviceable. Big Daddy Wilkinson, he didn't do too much in Cincinnati, but later on down the line, he became an all-pro. So we've seen a lot of great defensive linemen be great. But the thing is, for Tennessee, you need a bunch of players. You don't just need one player. And guess what? The Raiders, a lot of these teams will end up bidding for a quarterback. Go ahead and see what you can get for them. And the asking price, a first, second, and a third. Simple as that. You ain't got to get greedy with it. First, second, and a third, just to bring up your draft capital. Because guess what? This is a good draft, but there's going to be a lot of hidden gems in this draft when you really, really go back and look back on it. The first round is going to be good. First, second round going to be good. But after that, you're going to hear a lot of hidden gems. It's going to be a lot. This is going to be a hidden gem draft, in my opinion. This is a good draft, but when you go down the list, it's just like normally you would have an undisputed top 5. This time you don't. And the draft class outside of Sador and Cam Moore, kind of weak. Because Quentin Ewers, although Jackson Dart played in the SEC, I still have questions about. So this is not the deepest class that I've ever seen before in my life. A very good class, but not the deepest. So you need to trade that pick and see what you can do. This draft is very, very similar to the 1988 draft.
Okay.
Very similar.
Brandon from the block. What do you think about Abdul Carter? What do you think the Titans should do with the number 1 pick?
Okay, my fault.
That's
For me,
all
I'm not gonna lie. I go defense. I go Abdul Carter. I'm not gonna lie. They could trade up though. I just feel bad for the Titans though because they in the past they gave up AJ Brown and they gave up Derrick Henry and to get really nothing for real for return. Like it's like I forgot who they got, but
For the AJ Brown
but
trade?
it haven't been for the AJ Brown trade and Derrick Henry. Well, no, Derrick Henry was a free agent. My fault.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, they haven't really done nothing for real with that with them gone. You know, I thought they were gonna have at least get a package or get like a future for him, but like for AJ Brown, but like just ain't been cutting it for real. But yeah, if I'm the Titans, I'll go defense. But
Hmm.
no,
I know that the Titans got the 18th overall pick and the 101 pick. So they were able to get 2 draft picks, and then Philly was able to pay AJ Brown 4-year $100 million. But Tennessee, champ, to me, I would trade it because to your point about the draft, it's not a bad draft, but it's not a standout draft. There are other things that Tennessee needs to address. And just to confirm, champ, yes, Tennessee is a no state income tax. So you might as well want to live in Nashville or Memphis.
Mm,
It just
mm.
hey, you would know. Talk to Maria. Shout out to our girl Maria knows best. She lives in Memphis. We all know Maria. But yeah, Tennessee, I think they should definitely pull some trades, man. And it's unfortunate because again, they had AJ Brown, they had Derrick Henry. Years ago, they were competing for an AFC championship game. And then a couple years after that, they were the number 1 seed in the AFC. Lost to the Cincinnati Bengals in the divisional round, man. So I think with the Tennessee Titans, to your point, champ, how much money they have in cap space at this
That's
point?
what I was looking up right now. Now they do have one, two, three. They do have at least almost. They have a first and a second round. They have 2 picks in the fourth, 2 picks in the fifth, the sixth and the seventh. So they got some draft capital already.
Mm-hmm.
They have some draft capital. I think they need a couple other picks right about now, but I digress. But when I look up the cap space for the Titans, which I'm looking up as we speak,
Says here that Tennessee has $61 million in cap space for 2025, according to Over the Cap.
yes. And that's before the cap went up.
Yeah.
Because that's before the cap went up. So they might very well have 70 million. So don't spend all that money in one place. You try to do that with Calvin Ridley. You try to do it with a lot of other guys. Don't spend that money yet. Wait. Trade that pick, get you some more draft capital, and see how well that you can draft. Don't be around here doing too much at this point. I understand that everybody's trying to get the team right, but you have to draft right. And in the NFL, if you don't get that draft right, you're going to be suffering many years. And right now,
Don't risk it.
don't risk it. Don't risk it all.
Well, you being smart. I mean, hell, champ, they may ask you to be for an NFL GM. I mean, instead of doing what you're doing, they need to call you for an NFL spot.
Oh man, I welcome the challenge, man. I love to be a scout, man, or on-field reporter, something like that, man. Graduation is in another month, so NFL, y'all want to reach out to somebody in order to, do some things on that field, be a scout. I'd love to, try my luck at it.
Absolutely.